Oh, camera's wobbling. Just get some light in here now. This video, if you can see me, I might have to stand up, I don't know, I can't really tell if you... Anyway, this video is for Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess. So, you know, not really nice name for her. She was born on the 7th of August, 1516. She died the 21st of August, 1614, age 54. The Hungarian Countess she was actually was at the time. But she's also been known as the most prolific female serial killer of them all. I don't know what it is. She was called the Blood Countess or the Bloody Lady of Kashit. Once again, I can't pronounce Russian, but it's Kashit, I think. Katish, I don't know what it is. The family Bathory has been famous for their defence of Hungary from the Turks. Yeah, the Turks, like that, they. She was born in her own family estate in near Baker, and spent most of her childhood at Esled Castle, which I don't know what that is, somewhere in Hungary. All these were in Hungary at the time. Pardon me. Her father was George Bathory, who was like a duke or something. She wasn't really like a queen or anything, she was just a duke, that kind of thing. A duchess, that kind of shit, yeah. When she was 15, she was engaged to a Fenrik Nadasdy, I think. Nadasdy, and she moved to live in his castle Nadasdy in Sava, which is once again some of the province in Hungary. Around 1578, her husband became chief commander of the Hungarian army, and then he went to have a little scrap with the Turkeys. Of course, while he was away, she looked after all his business and all his estates. This role usually enrolled her out to look after the peasants, medical care, food, water, anything, which we don't get nowadays. Nowadays, if it's any presence on the street, we'll just go, here. There you go, this government's a load of shit anyway. Now, during the Long War, which was between 1593 and 1506, she was charged with defending her husband's estate because the Turks had a few small spaces of Hungarian territory, and those estates were on the roads to Vienna, as I've written down here. And it's just to stop them from getting any ground, you know, stop them from taking over more of Hungary. Yes. Now, she could read and write in 4 different languages, which, you know, at that time must have been pretty good, because, you know, education at that time was pretty shit. Because there were several times when she had to intervene on behalf of a destitute woman. There's one case where a husband had been captured by the Turks, and there's another one where another woman's daughter had been raped and impregnated by Turks. So the Turks had a very nasty habit, I must say. Of course, she was interested in all this science and astronomy shit, you know, so, you know, anatomy, physiology, that's the same thing, isn't it? No, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Biology, all that sciencey shit. And in 1604, her husband was killed from wounds in battle, and he was age 47. So, you know, I mean, obviously then she was like, oh dear, I've got no man to hunt me. What should I do? Oh, I got a good idea. Let's kill a few women and see what happens with the blood. Ooh, look. It splashed on my hand, and my hand seems to have got smoother. Let's do it again, but let's have an entire back in it. That's pretty much what she did for the next 200 for the past couple of years, 10, 14 years almost. I don't want to do the math, doesn't it? She did that for another 10 years. Obviously, well, about 7 years actually, because she had a 4 year gap before she died, when she had no blood or anything. That was when she was actually arrested. But around 1602 and between 1604, there was the Lutheran minister Istvan Magyari, who complained of some atrocities that were rumoured about Bathory. And obviously he was like, I went to what the hell is it? I thought the authorities were like, like the authorities today, they're like, what's that? Armed robbery, woman being handcuffed on the street, alright. It's shit like that. Cool, and then obviously in 1610, which is, you know, pretty long, the king assigned a Yarach Thurzul, I can't pronounce the new name, so forgive me if I can't say anything. who was a part-time of Hungary at the time, and he was employed to investigate the weird atrocity. Of course, there was a little preceding debate with her two sons, their son Paul and their two son-in-laws. Of course, they said that a trial and execution would be, it would, you know, since he's a wealthy person, it would, you know, they'd all think, oh, these nobility people, they're all doing this, let's have a riot, you know, the peasants revolt, you know. So they thought, well, better not do that, because, you know, it's going to get worse. And they first thought, let's put it in a nunnery, because, you know, might repent for many sins. But obviously, after the news of the murders spread, they were like, oh, better not actually, because, you know, the Catholic Church might go, oh, you know, whatever the hell. Of course, and then around 1610, around like 30th of December, my birthday, 30th of December, oh, that sucks. 1610, she was arrested, along with her 4 servants. Let's just check how long I've been doing this, because I don't know the time. 6 minutes, I will find them. I'll make this quick. And 4 of her servants were accused of being accomplices to her murders. And they found, this is a little thing, they found 1 girl dead, 1 dying, and 1 wounded and locked up in a cage. Of course, there was many things that she did do. She tortured and, you know, bled dry her victims. We'll talk about that in a minute. Of course, while she was under house arrest, the king said, oh, let's just execute the bitch and get on with it. And obviously Thursday was like, no, if they do that, then there's going to be nobility problems. And you know what's going to happen? There's going to be another peasants revolt. He's like, ah. So obviously the trial was postponed immediately. He obviously wanted her dead. I can't blame him. I think I would as well. Because the associates over were tried, that's not very nice, on the 7th of January 1611 at Bajka, all found guilty and executed, strangely enough. Well, one was placed in, I think there was around 4 of them, 3 of them were executed and 1 of them was placed under, had a life sentence or some shit like that. And Bathory herself was actually placed in a walled up set of 4 rooms inside a castle, when she remained there 3 or 4 years until she copped it. Now, 21st of November 1614 was when the body was actually found, but since there were like loads of plates of food that were left untouched, you know, the date of death was actually hard to think. She was buried in one of the churches, but the villagers were a bit like, no, but that's a piece of shit in here. Squeaky wheel. And then obviously they moved it to the family's mausoleum in Nicholas-Day. Of course, there was around 1610 to 11, the terrorists collected a load of testimonies from 300 witnesses about all the stuff she did. You know, it was all initial victims of the first peasant girls, but then it started to escalate to younger nobility, where she lured them there by jobs of wealthy workers, you know, all that shit. You know, and plus those ones there were sent. The ladies were sent there for courtly behaviour lessons. You know, that's a lady, that kind of shit. And of course, there was many atrocities, believe me. There was like severe beatings, which actually led to death. Actually led us to believe that blood was the little thing that made you longer, because you smacked the bloke so hard, the blood went on her hands, and she was like, oh, look at me. There was like burning and mutilations of the hands, face, and the lower areas. Women, of course, know what their lower area is, so I'm not going to say it. Well, it wasn't stated cannibalism where I've researched this, but you know, biting people isn't exactly, you know, a nice thing. Particularly when they're actually biting, I think it was cannibalism to some extent, just not actually eating it. And actually biting stuff off. There was starvation, freezing to death. Sometimes they purposely use bad surgery, you know, like Sweeney Todd does in that TV show when Mrs. Lovett's husband's got the gallstone, yeah, and he goes, oh, wait a minute, there's another one in here. He killed him. Oh, that was funny. Of course, the numbers of murders have been left unknown. It's often said that there was about hundreds. At one point, the 2 defendants said that there was about 36 to 37 at the same time, but the others said there was like 50 plus. And of course, the Cyber Catholic staff itself said about 100 and 200, but there was one witness who said said that she'd kept a little book with all the things, and there's about 650 names in there. You know, she's not a very nice woman, is she? Because, you know, she's draining these women of blood and swimming in it, and it's like that woman off Hostel 2, if you've ever seen Hostel 2. If you haven't seen Hostel 2, then you have to watch Hostel 2, because that film's actually quite good. But there's one bit where this woman does exactly what she does. It's like, cuts this woman open, and she's like, ah. It's a bit disgusting, but it's kind of good. Not around here, it's kind of... Well, I've got to go now, so bye-bye.